Good morning, Western Hills. I hope you're having a great day, getting off to a good start. I want to talk to you this morning about a story in the Bible, and I think it's very relevant in this time that we're dealing with all the hurting that's going on in our country and the divisions. And I think it's something that we as Christians really need to take a hard look at right now and examine ourselves and just really take a look at things. And it's a story that you're very familiar with. It's in Luke chapter 10. It's a parable of the Good Samaritan. But there's a couple of things I wanted to point out this morning in that. If you look at, everybody's real familiar with the story. Quick synopsis: a Jewish man's walking down the road and he's accosted by bandits and they steal his clothes. They basically beat him and leave him dead for dead. And a Jewish priest comes by, sees him, walks around him, ignores him, and then it says someone from the temple comes by, does the same thing, walks around him, and then it says a Samaritan. And if you really look at the story, it says a despised Samaritan. And if I don't know how familiar you are with the between the Jews and the Samaritans, but they basically hated each other. They could not stand the thought or stand the sight of each other. In fact, they referred to each other as dogs a lot of times. But this Samaritan comes by, says he looks at him and he takes pity on him and he helps him. So, matter of fact, he helps him up, bandages him, takes him to an inn, gives the guy money to take care of him. And what started all this story, if you look back in verse 25, it says an expert in religious law come by one day. And they were always trying to trap Jesus and trying to get him to say something that they could hold against him. And apparently this guy had been around back in Matthew chapter 25 when Jesus tells, love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your mind. He says, and the second commandment is just as important. He said, love your neighbor as yourself. So this guy was going to test him. So he gets up and he says, teacher, what should I do to inherit eternal life? And Jesus replied, what does the law of Moses say? How do you read it? Said the man answered, you must love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, all your strength, and all your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. Jesus said, right. Said, do this and you will live. But here in verse 29 it says, but the man wanted to justify his action, so he asked Jesus, and who is my neighbor? Now, if you study this parable, you'll know that Jesus is quoting from Deuteronomy and Leviticus. And in Leviticus, it says, do not hold a grudge against a fellow Jew, but love your neighbors yourself. So in that context, it replied to just the Jews. So this guy thought, okay, I'm going to trap him here. He's telling me I need to love everybody, but I'm just going to trap him because my understanding of this verse is that I'm supposed to just love people like me, that I'm okay. If I love people like me, if I take care of my neighbor who is like me, then I'm fulfilling the law. So he's trying to trap him. So he just says, so who is my neighbor? And that's when Jesus tells the parable. There's one interesting verse in here. It's interesting to me. In verse 33, he says, then a despised Samaritan came along. And when he saw the man, he felt compassion for him. And then, of course, he helps him out, takes him to the inn, looks after him. But here's the trick here. Here's the thing. Here's where Jesus gets the guy. When he finished this story, he says, now, which one of these three would you say was a neighbor to the man who was attacked by bandits? And I'm going to show you how bad it is. The guy could not, this religious leader, this lawyer, now he was an attorney, he was a lawyer, he was versed in religious law. He couldn't even say the word Samaritan. That's how bad it was. He couldn't even refer to this person who he was. So what he says was, the man who showed him mercy. And I think a lot of times we look back and we read this story and we kind of put it in the context of, well, this is Jews and Samaritans. We know they hate each other. They couldn't get along. And we just kind of gloss through it. Now's the time when we need to pay attention to really what Jesus was saying here. He says it doesn't matter. It does not matter who they are. We're supposed to love other people. And now is more important than ever, I believe, in our society for us as Christians to stand up and let our light shine among everyone and show that we love everybody. I don't care what color your skin is. I don't care what your economic status is. I don't care what your past is. I don't care. I am commanded to show mercy. That's what it is. I'm commanded to show mercy. And if this Samaritan who could not stand Jews, and his Jews who could not stand, remember, he couldn't even say his name, but he understood what Jesus was saying. It's time for us to stand up and show mercy. And that's my challenge to you today. Let's forget about what color we are. Let's forget about where we came from. Let's forget about all these things. We're all God's children. We're all made in his image. It didn't say black or white, red, yellow, green. He says we are made in his image. He didn't include or exclude any group. So it's time that it's our responsibility to shine our light among the world. Let them see that we can love. They'll know we are Christians by our love. So that's my challenge to you this week and today, is that you have an opportunity. As things are starting to open up, we're starting to get out, we're starting to interact more. It's more now is important that we show our love to our fellow man. So that's my challenge. Let's go out today, show mercy to those who need mercy. Hope you have a great day. Talk to you again soon.